we've been talking about this, about how this is going to happen, that right now we are at a grand dinner at a very nice restaurant. And right now we're sitting at the bar as coronavirus has started, and we have our green beer cocktail that will not cure us. That's a joke from yesterday. But one thing that we've been saying is going to happen is virus is going to happen. That's the appetizer. It's the depression, the entree that we have to fear, the thing that will cause the most deaths, the most, etc. So we're seeing that start right now. Marriott International Inc., the world's largest hotel company, will begin furloughing what it expects to be tens of thousands of employees as it faces hotel closings across the globe, according to the Wall Street Journal. The employees at these properties won't be paid while on furlough, but the bulk will continue to receive health care benefits that are ultimately paid by the hotel owner, the spokesperson added. Quote, "We are adjusting global operations accordingly, which has meant either reduction in hours or a temporary leave for many of our associates at our property." So this is just one company that we're talking about. Now, furlough, for those of you who have not done this or experienced it, means you're going to work for us, but we're not going to pay you.
It doesn't mean that the wolf doesn't have much fur.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like
Dun,
that.
dun, dun.
Yeah. Well, in a sense, it kind of is. It's
He's
like,
low on fur,
he's
guys.
Low on fur. We're very low on fur. We're billionaires, but we can't help but pay you the wage that we promised when we hired you. This is just the beginning. Hotel, of course, are going to be the most early hit because people have stopped traveling and everyone's canceled their reservations. This is going to spread to airline. This is going to spread, well, everywhere.
It's already everywhere.
It's already spreading everywhere. Now, it just hasn't fully ticked in yet. It's like when you see like a movie and you see like the sniper taking aim and he's just about to pull the trigger and you know that he's going to hit the target he's aiming at, but he hasn't pulled the trigger. That's where we're at. Right now, we know what's going to happen. We know how it's going to happen, but it just has, there's no impact has occurred yet, or it's starting to at least. It's cutting through the air. So, this is the beginning of the biggest recession or depression of our lives. This has the hallmarks of 2008 and the dot-com bubble. It's an explosion from both sides. The demand is gone. No one's buying everything except toilet paper. That industry is doing well for now, except once people buy 6 months' supply of toilet paper, they will not make money for the next 6 months. And I mean, there's a lot of panic buying now. There's a lot of economic stimulation, that sort of thing. How long is it going to last? It's already failing. It's already failed for most industries. So what happens in a consumer economy when there are no consumers? What happens on the supply side of a consumer economy when they can't make the supplies?
Right.
Everything falls apart.
Well, I think you answered a lot. You know, you hit a lot of points there, especially in regards to what's going to happen to a lot of industries here in this country, Daniel. And the real truth is that it's going to be a long while, before things ever return back to the concept of normal. Let's look at how we look at this once this crisis does passes us by. Number one, workers demand more rights and more protections. We need stronger social safety nets now more than ever. We just saw what this we are still seeing now what this tiny virus is doing to our system. It is breaking it. It is humbling the United States. And again, it's becoming widespread. I mean, people can't go to work. You got schools being shut down. And, you know, the only people who right now are profiting at this moment are major corporations because they have bought our government. This is what happens when you have money in politics. This is what happens when you have a neoliberal, neoconservative system that doesn't care for the people. And people, citizens, need to step up and demand action. People need to make sure that we have to change. We, as citizens, have to change our election system. It requires us to be involved because right now, the people in charge have shown how incompetent they are. This virus could get worse. And if we don't take action and hold our elected leaders accountable, a lot of us are going to be left holding the bag. And that's not right. Paul?
Yeah, I don't think I have a whole lot to add to what you guys had to say. It feels really terrible that, and I've said this on the show before, it feels awful that something like this, a global financial crisis coupled with a pandemic, is the type of thing is almost required for major political reorganization, for major political advancement, for in part a return to some of the reforms that we had under FDR, but in my estimation, we need to go further than that, right? Those reforms under FDR began being dismantled relatively quickly. The major things started to get dismantled in the 80s, and then by the time, after the dot-com,
Bill Clinton was
Bill
the one who
Clinton
left
did a
it.
lot
Yeah,
in
to
the
get
90s,
basketball.
and then after the 2008 crash, we finally ended up with Glass-Steagall, which is basically this sort of like, yay, we're still doing, it's still totally a reform, and it's totally great, and it's gonna keep the thing from happening again. By keeping the banks from crashing again, we mean making it completely legal and silent this, siphoning of money from the Federal Reserve into the financial industry. So nobody will notice that we're pumping money into this industry forever and ever and ever. People will die, not just because of the pandemic. People will die because of the recession. And it feels awful that it takes something like that to move the needle on these type of issues.
And on that, I mean, it's like I don't know how to feel about this. On some way, I feel vindicated because we've been saying this for 3 years, and we've been told we were idiots, we didn't know what we were talking about. We've been gaslighted by people in the know that have the power for 3 years.
It hasn't been an easy 3 years.
It hasn't been easy. But here we are, correct on just about everything. You could go back a year, and we said here on the show, hey, everything's set up for a recession to knock down everything sometime in the beginning of 2020. I didn't see the news talk about that. And again, to kind of paraphrase what Jimmy Dore says, how are the three of us able to see this coming? Because it's obvious. Because it's always been obvious. It's always been a house of cards that has been put together in a way that is predictable and obvious in the way it functions and works, like a Titanic going towards an iceberg it doesn't want to believe is real. But it is, and it is obvious that it's real, and it is obvious to everyone that isn't the captain of the ship and the people that want to make good time that it's real. Yep. So Paul's right, and we've said this, and what's the result? Millions are going to die in the U.S., many more around the world. Money will be, everything that we said would happen will happen. We got it right, but what's it matter? We need to grow bigger so that when we say these things the next time, people listen.
Hey, welcome to Hard Lens Media. We're Evolution of Manly, the show about the evolving ideas of what it means to be a man in today's society, and we are shooting here at the 99 Perspective Studio. You can see us and a bunch of other shows on their website, which is in the link in the description below. Yay. I forgot he said 15 seconds, so I think that first one is probably not even close to 15 seconds.